I am currently a stay-at-home mom. My husband works full-time. My girls are 2 years old. They'll turn 3 in February. They are, running around the place. We're potty training. They're talking. They're dancing. They're following motions of songs and singing. And there's a lot going on in my life right now as a mom and as a wife, and I'm just loving every part of it. I love it. I first came into contact with Gift of Life by a friend who told me about the program. I was in family guidance already through my pregnancy, and my friend was like, hey, Gift of Life is another resource you should take advantage of. This is why. So I just reached out and tried to get connected. I was currently unemployed. I had worked up until I found out I was 6 weeks pregnant, and then at 13 weeks I found out it was twins, and I was very, very sick. Had a lot of health issues and a lot of health concerns, high risk pregnancy. And I lived with my grandparents because my grandmother had cancer at the time, and my husband and I were taking care of them. And being unemployed and pregnant as a new mom, I'd worked with children, but I was a new mom, so I felt like I needed more resources and help discovering how to be a mother, because I'd never been a mom before. I'm sorry if this gets me emotional. My one thing getting through it all was God. I firmly believe I would not be here today had I not trusted the Lord with my babies and with my grandmother. They were born February 6th. She was heaven's side on May 7th of 22. So we had her for exactly 3 months, and then she was no longer here, and she actually decided to go down on her treatments shortly after I found out I was pregnant. So, part of me blamed myself because here I was with new babies in the NICU. I was going home, and then I had a grandmother that was also transitioning to be with the Lord, and I had to go from pumping milk to feeding the babies to giving my grandmother her medicine, and also taking care of myself. And a lot of times I didn't want to take care of myself, but I knew as a new mom that I would have to take care of myself. So I actually chose to stop breastfeeding shortly after I brought them home. They were home at 2 weeks old, simply because it was just exhausting. It was so stressful, straining, overwhelming, and I knew that having my babies fed was the best. Fed babies are the best babies, and as long as you're feeding those babies, then you're doing the right thing, and I really believe that I could not have gotten through that season without God, and also Gift of Life. They helped me tremendously through that season. Kelly was the first nurse I ever had come to the house, and she actually got to meet my grandmother, my granddad, and she was a breath of fresh air coming into my papa's house. When I told her that I was reaching out to Gift of Life too, she was like, oh, well, that's interesting. And I had no idea that she was swapping, that she was going to join Gift of Life later on. But she was so sweet through it. And then Shay was actually my Gift of Life nurse at the time. And when I was pregnant to the time I was in the hospital to when I had the babies, Shay was constantly talking to me. I went through postpartum really bad. I had depression really bad because my grandmother was not only the person that raised me, she was my very, very best friend. And I knew that I was having babies, and I wanted her to meet those babies. And it was hard knowing that I was going to welcome these babies into this world, but also lose my grandmother at the same time. It was an experience like no other, and Shay carried me through it all. I actually didn't even tell her that I'd gone in the hospital. I was so sick. I had COVID twice during my pregnancy. I had preeclampsia, COVID, and also high blood pressure, all the symptoms that come with it. And it was high risk, and they wouldn't even tell me that they were taking the babies. So Shay didn't find out until 2 days after I'd given birth. And she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you were in the hospital. And then Krista, I met her after we moved to Prattville. She met us when the babies were a year old. And she was absolutely fantastic. She helped us learn how to be on our own in our own home. We moved to Prattville shortly after my grandmother passed away because my granddad couldn't be on his own anymore. And so Krista helped us find resources in Prattville and followed up with us until the girls were 2. I think one way that I would like to encourage other moms would be just to continue being a good mom. You know, continue waking up in the morning and getting up and saying, you know what, this is going to be a great day. No matter what, it's going to be a great day. And whether your babies scream all day or they're happy all day, you're still a mom. Your babies are breathing, they're alive, they're healthy, and it's all because of you and the ones that support y'all, you know. And to those moms that may feel alone like I did at first, because losing gift of life was kind of like, what am I going to do now? You just have to meet other moms, you know, build a community around yourself. Take them to the park, you know, go to the public splash pad, you know, the library. I mean, just do things that get you out of the house and get you moving, and continue to let them, like, teach them their ABCs and their numbers and, you know, all the things that come with being a mom. And keep in touch with your nurses. They love us, you know. They're there from the time you're pregnant till those babies are 2 years old. They love us too. And I've kept up with all of my nurses, and I could not imagine them not being part of my life anymore.